thank you. Earlier today, we brought you 2 hours of uninterrupted special coverage of the Vice President's visit. Our team coverage continues right now. Cameron Taylor is in Dalton at the Convention Center, where the Vice President spoke several hours ago. First, though, let's start with Kate Smith. She's at the Chattanooga airport, and you got to speak with Mike Pence earlier. Kate?
That's right, Cindy. Vice President Pence told me that he was very excited to be back in the Tennessee Valley and to spend the day campaigning for Republican gubernatorial candidate Brian Kemp. He was greeted by almost 100 supporters inside of the Chattanooga airport. Many of them were a group of volunteers with the Walker County Republican Party. He arrived a little later than expected. Around 11:07 was when Air Force Two touched down. The crowd was forced inside because of the rain, but Vice President Pence made sure to make a stop inside to greet his supporters.
We've got great candidates all over America, and it's just great to be back in Chattanooga.
Pence was out of the airport by 11:30, and him and Brian Kemp made their way to the Dalton Convention Center together. Weather did not impact the Vice President's departure from the Chattanooga airport. He stayed at the Convention Center a little longer than expected, but once the motorcade arrived back to the airport, he was in Air Force Two within the next 5 minutes. Tonight, you'll hear from somebody who spoke with the Vice President inside of the airport, and he tells me it is a moment that he will never forget. But for now, I'm live at the Chattanooga airport. Kate Smith, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Kate. Now we go to Channel 3's Cameron Taylor in Dalton, and Cameron had a good seat for the Vice President's speech, and we want to get with Cameron to see what you got out of it today. Cameron?
Yeah, David, he certainly fired up the base for sure. Vice President Mike Pence and Brian Kemp. There were chants of USA and build that wall, plus, of course, cheers for both the Vice President and Brian Kemp. Now, Pence mentioned that Kemp and the Trump administration share many of the same principles and priorities. Now, Pence mentioned Kemp will lower taxes, cut regulations, and support farmers in the state. Throughout the rally, it was a strong push from the Vice President for supporters to make sure Kemp gets elected. Kemp also urged people to vote with just 5 days before the midterm election.
I'm asking you to join us in this final push to help us turn out the vote. This is the fourth quarter. This is the fourth quarter. I need you to show up like the Dogs did in Jacksonville last weekend.
And we're told more than 3,000 people RSVP'd to today's rally, but organizers tell us around 1,200 people actually attended today's event at the Dalton Convention Center. Now, Dalton was one of 3 stops that Kemp and Pence made today. It's one of 3 stops in the state of Georgia. Now, they should be in Savannah in the next hour or so. We're live in Dalton. Cameron Taylor, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Cameron, thank you. Early voting for the November election is coming to a close. In Georgia, early voting ends tomorrow. Tennesseans have until 7 tonight to cast an early ballot. And if you choose to wait until Tuesday to vote, you'll need to vote at your designated precinct. We have that information posted inside the WRCB app. Now, here are a few quick facts about Republican gubernatorial candidate Brian Kemp. He grew up in Athens, Georgia, graduated from the University of Georgia. He's married with 3 children, served in the state Senate, and is the current Secretary of State. He has been endorsed by President Trump and, you saw today, Vice President Pence.